What's up, everybody? Tommy here, Math Productions, and we're back at the UC Vanguard Questline. We're picking up where we last left off. We are back in New Atlantis, and we're here to meet with Hadrian at the Mast building so we can go together to confront the cabinet. Not necessarily confront them in an adversarial type way, though we know that they don't necessarily have the utmost respect for our credibility and what we're bringing to them, but we need to present to them the Terrormorph issue that we've uncovered on Tau Ceti and that we've been working on by what we were last doing with getting Dr. Percival back in the mix and the Red Devil's facility on Mars. So the cabinet, you learn in this situation, they work together, but they do not trust each other. They all believe each other has ulterior motives. Coincidentally or not, though, while we're debating if something should be done about this potential return of a terrormorph threat, wouldn't you know it, New Atlantis comes under siege by that very threat. This instance, though, we learned something new. So one, terrormorphs have the ability to mind manipulate people, right? And control them, make them do what they want them to do. But we also have now learned more about in-game about these energy weapons that stun, like permanently. Not necessarily permanently, but these Nova Blast disruptors, and we just picked up a modified, I think it's a Grendel that's modified for us to be able to have that EM capability and that electromagnetic, I believe, capability. That is super useful and is going to be incredibly useful for us when we get out of this quest line and we start doing our xenobiology exploring and attempted taming on our own. I have a feeling, I have a strong suspicion, Meta, I know for a fact, using those EM weapons to stun and knock out your attempted tames before you throw those CCDs greatly increases the odds of you capturing that tame with said CCD. So I've been waiting for this moment in game for us to learn about that EM technology and be given a modified weapon with EM capabilities. We are absolutely going to be using that weapon specifically for the Xenomaster mod moving forward out in the field. But check that out, use just the pistol, and I had a little bit of help, but I feel like that one, mostly me, with the pistol from range at that, took out that terrormorph. There's 3 total at this attack. There's the one that's right up there close to the gate when you first get here, and then once you talk to the Sergeant Yumi and then the specialty force, you'll know about 2 more. You have to eliminate those 2 before you can move on. This one I thought was going to take way longer. I thought I was going to have to flank, get position. By the time I didn't even get back to the meeting area, my crew had already taken out this other terrormorph. So another plug again, the gang is all here. It's a fantastic mod that I highly encourage if you like to run solo. I get why you wouldn't use the mod. Because it absolutely defeats that purpose. But if you were like me and you like running with your crew, it's an essential must-have mod. It does make the game easier, admittedly. I won't try to necessarily paint my words differently than what the reality is on that aspect. It does make it easier because you have other people with you. But it, for me, makes the game far more fun. That said, and you'll notice in the next part of what we have to do here, we're going to talk to some lady who's going to tell us about how we have to get these specific like security access cards, codes, whatever. We have obviously the one for the UC, but we have to get one from the Freestar and from the Varuun to be able to access the archives with all the information about the terrormorphs, that information that we're trying to get, right? That information that we went to the cabinet to get. Now they see the terrormorphs, they're like, okay, we'll get it. You have our card, but you need to get these 2 other cards. Well, in there's going to be a little bit of combat, and you're going to notice that oftentimes I'll run into enemies, and then those enemies are quickly dealt with. I have yet to figure out exactly what it is. I think it's that dude, though. That robot that we got from the Ramtech AI prologue. I think he's super strong. I don't know, maybe it's just the perfect combination of that robot plus McNuggets, which I've given that Xeno tree, so he's got them explosive ranged attacks, right? Simeon also is a beast, has a great ranged weapon, and skill set for combat, obviously, right? And I feel like the Adoring Fan is underrated in the field. So maybe it's just that I have a really good team put together with great abilities that are exceptional for eliminating enemies from range and protecting me whenever we come into a combat scenario. Or that robot is super OP. I haven't figured it out yet. We're going to figure it out. Either way, I'm happy with it. This map, so our last episode, I was boasting a little bit about how I have a decent ability at memorizing maps quickly. For whatever reason it is, this map specifically, I have a terribly hard time. Not just because I got caught in the bushes, like you just saw on screen there, and that kind of throws me off from my mental mapping. But I think just everything about the ambiance of this point of interest, the way that it kind of manipulates the clarity, and it's got that fog and the different colors kind of blending everything together. I don't know, but this map specifically is difficult for me to remember. So if you're like me with this POI, or just in general, if you're having a tough time figuring out where you need to go, pull up your scanner. On Xbox, hit that left bumper, and when you pull up the scanner, either immediately or if you just hover the cursor, if you will, over where that blue circle is showing you to your next point in the quest line, then you'll get these arrows that'll pop up on the ground, and they're directional arrows, and they'll flow in the direction that you need to take. That'll get you to that blue dot, right? You just saw them on screen. You'll see it a few other times before we get back out of this building here, but it's a fantastic, and in my opinion, not often mentioned. So in that case, in my opinion, again, severely underrated base game mechanic that is incredibly useful at any level, at any location, no matter what you're doing, as long as you have like a thing that you're trying to get to that's marked on the map, whether it be for a quest or whatever. Then if you pull up the scanner, and again, if you don't see it right away, hover the cursor over the blue dot wherever it's at around you on the screen, and you should get those directional arrows that you see me following there. Super clutch tip, so definitely take note of that. But using that tip, we eventually make our way through. This is the last area for this Varuun embassy. I talked right through it when we went to the Freestar embassy. I somehow, in the first speech attempt that we've done on this playthrough, I chose the most risky option to convince that lady to just, hey, be a soldier, be a protector, be a hero. Let us have access to this information so we can do some good and protect some lives. And the lady went with it, and she gave us the code. Super lucky. Doesn't always happen that way. It was our first speed check in the playthrough. I didn't even realize that until the tutorial box popped up. So that's kind of cool. Super lucky. But make our way with combat through the Varuun embassy. We get that key code. We take both those back to this lady here, who then sends us again out to another location. There's a whole lot of back and forth in this part of the quest line, this quest line in general, but you finally get to the Armistice building, and you can put all three of those key codes into those locks. That unlocks the main vault. Inside there, you get that information on the Terrormorphs. You bring that information back. You find McIntyre, and then you find Major Hadrian Sanan. At this point, you can give over that Terrormorph information, and at that point, you were rewarded with the first big reward in the UC questline, and that is citizenship. It's not yet the Class A citizenship that we're hoping for by the end of this questline, but it does mean that we can now purchase property, and we get a little bit better buying and selling rates at the vendors, right? But that's it for this stage of the quest. Next episode, we'll pick up with meeting Subject 7, the clandestine captive, the UC, is kept hidden away from everybody else, right? We'll figure out who that is, what's going on there, but I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, I hope you press the like button. Hope you consider subscribing to the channel. We're really close to 1,000 channel subs, which is a huge accomplishment and milestone for me. I appreciate everybody that's already here, and I look forward to acknowledging everyone that helps us get to that next milestone, right? Let me know in the comments below what you think, and as always, take care.